Hi, my name is Kyra Crispin, and this is my story. Um, just recently, I made a film called A Second Chance, and it portrays part of this story. When I was younger, about 14 or so, it was about 8 years ago, my mom, and my brother got into a really bad car accident. Um, I was ejected from the car and I was by the road, and my mom, and my brother were flipped over in the truck in the middle of the field. I remember going to sleep in the back of the car, and then the next thing I woke up, I was on the ground. I had no idea what happened, but I do remember hearing my brother calling my name. And I tried, but I was having a really hard time breathing and wasn't able to speak at the moment. So it was really hard for me to let him know that I was okay. Next thing I knew, my dad came running, and he had found me and was trying to calm me down, and he was really shaky, and yeah, he told me that that my mom and my brother were okay, and I just told him that I couldn't breathe. I was having a hard time breathing, and so the next thing I knew, there was cars coming and people asking if I was okay and checking on my family. And I remember my best friend at the time, she was headed to church that day, and she sat by me and tried to comfort me until the helicopter came. I was airlifted to the hospital with oxygen, and they had done IVs and everything in the helicopter. I kind of zoned out. I didn't really know what was going on. But both my parents and my brother made it to the hospital as well. They went in the ambulance. And yeah, long story short, I stayed the night in the hospital. And then I went home the next day. So did my mom and my brother went home that night. It took a toll on me. I didn't know what was bothering me at the time. I just knew that every time I heard anything to do with faith or God or religion, it made me very upset, and I would just walk away angry. I had trouble sleeping. I didn't know what was happening. I just couldn't sleep. I didn't feel like talking to nobody. I was kind of more towards myself. I did do therapy for a while, and with that it helped a little bit, but I still wasn't able to fully commit to what was going on. I do remember that after a while, my mom had talked to my grandma about it, and me and my brother stayed the night at her house. That night, she sat me down, and she asked me, what's going on? She said, "Your mom says you're not sleeping. What's on your mind?" And at first, I was like, "I'm fine," I didn't want to really say anything. So with that being said, I turned around, and my grandma has this picture on the wall of Jesus. And I just remember staring at that picture for a good while until I finally said it. I saw Jesus. And she freaked out and was like, "You saw Jesus?" And I was like, "I did." So she was like, "What did he look like? And what happened, And so I told her, he looked like the picture, but cleaner. And then I just told her that he had told me that everything was going to be okay, that my family was going to be okay, and we were going to get through it. After that, I started sleeping better. I was a different person at the time. So when we told my mom she was frightened. She had lost her daughter for a few minutes and then came back. So it took a toll on all of us. But after that, I started to remember just everything. Like, I told her there wasn't a gate, like you hear people say. It was all white. I didn't see anything. I didn't see flowers. It was just plain white, and he was just standing there. So I didn't understand. And then my grandma had told me that it was because it wasn't my time. That's why I didn't see everything. So with that being said, I just moved on. I slept better, and I found myself growing closer to God. And by that I mean I pray every day, and I talk to him like a normal person. And since then, my faith grew stronger. Overall, my second chance that I had gotten, I've done a lot more. I've done films and found my passion. And with that being said, I made my film A Second Chance, which that tells more in depth of the story. It tells when I confessed to my grandma what had happened. And it also just shows like the struggles that I went through and how I was like put together, like how I was to myself. So I'm really glad I got to tell that portion of the story. And now just going back to that day makes me appreciate life so much more. So yeah, that's my story.